It's a complaint, parent complaint.
Oh, yeah. Should I have the bomb sniffing dogs check it first? Should I have the bomb sniffing dogs check it first?
Called meeting to order. Thanks for your attendance at this special board meeting today. There are two items on our agenda. We'll get to those quickly. First off is to approve a plan or process for interim president. And there have been basically three possibilities on our list. Hopefully you guys have been thinking some about this in terms of the possibilities. Preston Pulliam with Gold Hill, is that it? They're available to hire someone interim for us. We can also select someone from within current employees, cabinet members, or consideration of continuing on for a few months with Dr. Woodburn. So, what are your thoughts on those options?
Mr. Chairman?
Yep.
I think it would be wise if this board eventually has a policy about what the procedure is for the sequence when we come into this kind of a situation. And at this time, since we have not addressed it before, I would like to mention three options that appear to me to be very logical. And you've mentioned one of them particularly, and that would be that the current president, we're just saying this as a policy type thing, the current president remain on a month-to-month contract, which means each month we would have to renew that contract. And we would expect that this happen in 3 months, that we would have somebody new in place in 3 months, October. Then my second option would be that the vice presidents are already carrying that responsibility, and it certainly would be a very smooth transition if they continued to do that, whether or not there were anybody sitting in the president's seat or chair. And the third option then would be the interim to come in from outside. And there are pros and cons for all of those suggestions, particularly that the vice presidents in place would not be an additional expense. And the third option with an interim president would be that might be a way to have some of the obvious things pointed out to us that they see that we would need to consider. So with those three options, I would like to have them considered.
Okay. Discussion? In terms of the policy, it's probably a good idea to develop some sort of a policy, I guess. Policy ought to leave you options, and so that may be for the future something for us to work on.
It takes too much time to develop a policy to deal with this particular issue here today.
Yeah, we have to decide on what we're going to do.
Oh, not
our
today,
plan.
no,
Yeah.
but in the future.
It's something to consider, yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of having or seeing if there's interest among current vice presidents or cabinet members, I think that's a pretty viable option. May provide an opportunity for some of those in terms of just improving their own resumes, if you will. Not everybody may be interested in doing something like that, but to me that's a reasonable option. And as you said, many of the at that level, most of those duties we assume are ongoing without the assistance of a president. If they're not doing their jobs without somebody their thumb on them, I don't think that's happening. So.
And could I comment about that?
Yeah.
I wasn't really thinking that there would be a particular designation,
Yeah.
but that they continue just as they are. And those are being done now,
Right.
anyway. It
Well,
would be,
we have to have a president because there are ministerial functions that the president has to perform. So we have to have somebody designated as a president. And I think any one of our existing staff persons could very well handle that for this interim period. I don't really see any large issues that the college are going to be facing in the next 3 months. So I think it can be managed very well.
So this is going to be a 3-month process or
Yeah,
thereabouts?
Pretty
yeah,
much.
we're looking at August or September for the new president to come in, according to Gold Hill's schedule anyway.
Yeah.
Well, when you consider those ramifications, the least upsetting would be for the president to be on a month-to-month basis who is already sitting. Then, as the vice presidents have already been doing what they're supposed to be doing, that also would not be an upsetting situation. And the interim coming in has a lot of advantages, so I think any of those options certainly are viable.
But, you know, I mean, and I'm not dead set on either way, but one advantage of an interim coming in would be, like you said, they can look at how things have been done in the past, how things are currently being done, and they can say, well, you need to cut this here, change this, and, you know, they can give the new incoming president maybe a list of things that they might want to look at just to get another set of eyeballs on the whole situation.
I think that is a definite plus.
Now, as we've found out in the past, there can be disadvantages of that too, you know, but it's just, there's pluses and minuses to every situation, I think.
Yeah.
It's one we're most comfortable with.
I agree. I mean, I think as far as having an interim
Well, Anthony.
come in from the outside, I don't think it's a harmful thing. I think, you know, Mr. Pullen's not going to bring in somebody off the street that doesn't know what they're doing. I mean, these are experienced people, and I don't think it would be a harmful thing. Dr. Woodburn's planning his retirement for quite a long time. I think we kind of kept him around even longer than he was initially planning, so I think letting him get to his fishing trip is reasonable.
Except he did say I would stay if you asked me. He did say that. So it isn't that I was trying to do something to him. I definitely see the advantages in an interim coming and looking us over. If it's an experienced person, and we've had a bad experience with it, so we need to consider that too.
Yeah.
But I think the more eyes you can get on a situation, the better off you are, you know. And, you know, there's just a lot of different things that go on a college campus that people will have different viewpoints on. You know, the way Dr. Woodburn did it's not the way that was done before that, and before that, before that. You know, and they all do well the way they do things, but like I said, having another set of eyeballs, I think, is a good thing.
I take it you're leaning towards bringing someone in from outside.
And I think it leaves the opportunity open for any of the vice presidents, and because Mr. Pullen made it very clear that he did not even want to entertain doing his job if we were going to place an interim that would also be a presidential candidate.
And
So
yes,
us appointing someone to the presidential or to the interim takes them out of that running, really. And so I feel that this leaves the door open for our folks here, you know, to throw their hat in the ring. So be it. Because he made that very clear, and I can see why. I think we all can. I mean, I think that's very understood. It's hard to get an applicant to come in when they know that it's an inside. I mean, most applicants are going to feel like it's an inside deal if they're just going through formalities, and they may not want to really invest in that.
Yeah, sure.
Just a big investment. These people are talking about packing up, moving their lives. So.
and Mr. Chairman, to move along, I will make motion that we ask Gold Hill to find us an interim.
Okay, is there a second to that?
I'll second it.
Discussion.
There'll be costs involved
Sure.
that
That's
you
the
wouldn't
downside.
have otherwise. That's really the only downside I see.
Correct.
But, you know, on the one hand, I think the other system would work probably equally as
Yeah.
well. But I have no real negative feelings about bringing someone in. Yeah, there could be some benefits.
Well, we
because
could all
of the
gain something
experiences
if
that
the right
they've had.
person comes.
Well, I think any of the three options are fine. I just think this would be the most advantageous, just to get another person's opinion on
Sure.
the campus.
Yeah, I think definitely that could be a positive or a plus from this particular decision. So, I also don't, I think either of the options would work, but I have no, negative feelings about having an interim brought in from Gold Hill. That's certainly part of what they do, so. Any other comments, or are you ready to vote?
Call the question.
All right, moved and seconded to ask Gold Hill to supply us with an interim president while we're completing our presidential search. All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. Moving on next to the compensation package for the new president. I think Carl had sent all this to you guys for review, and just something as kind of some basics. My thought was providing Gold Hill at least a range that we're thinking in terms of base salary, and then all these other, I don't know what's kind of an expected package. I'm sure health insurance, all the other administrative benefits, just kind of goes without saying.
Yeah, we provide the health insurance, membership to the country
Yeah.
club. We have a private vehicle allowance of, I think, $500 a month.
Plus
And then it's some
Plus
mileage
mileage.
outside of the service area.
Yeah.
So that's pretty typical. And didn't I see that the average president's salary in Kansas for community college right at 130,000?
Yes, 133, I
That's
believe.
what it was.
Yeah.
And we're paying Woodward around 150 at this point in time.
156,723.
156. So I'd recommend that we go slightly above the 130, let's say 135 to 140 in that range, with the health insurance, the
Country
private
club.
vehicle allowance. And that basically would be the package. And
You had moving
whoever,
expense.
yeah, probably moving expenses. But whoever it'd be, they'd want to negotiate that a little
Right,
bit too. So,
right.
there's to be some give and take on that. So that would be my recommendation. Matter of fact, I'll put that in the motion.
As a motion, all right. Is there a second to that
I'll
motion?
second.
Okay.
And so is that to say a range of 135 to 140?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I was reading in Dr. Wilburn's contract that it defers to the policy numbers, and do you know those numbers off of that? Not the policy numbers, I can read those, go ahead, but what those refer to as
They
far as
refer to
vacation and sick leave?
Sick leave, vacation time, can't remember what else we might have referred
There's
to.
those, I guess, part of my
Basic.
concern, I guess, or no, not concern, just a question, was kind of hard and fast numbers, or is that open for negotiation still through the process of finding somebody?
think-
I mean, those I realize are established, but like moving expenses, kind of leaving those things open-ended, like obligates us, and it's gonna be rather expensive to move somebody from Turkey.
You don't hire anybody.
I don't know where that came from. But, I guess that's the thing, is there a cap here, is there a,
I think those are.
we might have a
negotiating.
tractor collector that's got,
We
Yeah.
would
You-
need to
Negotiate.
We've had
Okay.
packages otherwhere where we say we'll pay up to $5,000 in moving expenses, or
Yeah.
some sort of
3,000.
arrangement. Yeah. And as far as the sick leave, vacation time, I think it's just been, okay, we'll follow what for other administrators.
What the administrative
But it could be
staff
something.
is.
It could be something different. It could be something different if you chose to do so.
I would assume most candidates would assume some of those things are negotiable, so. All right, there's a motion and a second for what Morris just moved. Any other discussion on that? Mind's clear on that? All right, all in favor, raise your hand. That motion carries as well.
We're done.
All right, we are done. Appreciate your attendance, and be back for the regular board meeting on the 23rd. All right.
Dr. Claudette, will you contact
Gold Hills, yeah,
Gold Hill?
I'm sure I have his contact
I
information.
have
but
a card downstairs I
Okay, all righty,
can run off for you or something.
all right, we're adjourned. See you guys next month then, or next
Thank you.
week.